Today was not just embarrassing because how Donald Trump carried himself and misrepresented our nation in the Oval Office. It was also embarrassing for all the spineless, cowardly Republicans who fell in line with every disgusting word that fell out of his mouth. And there is one specifically who, I'm talking about. It is Lindsey Graham. You should be ashamed of yourself. I hope you cannot sleep. And I share that feeling clearly with President Zelenskyy, who called out Lindsey Graham in a perfect takedown that I can't wait to get into. It's incredibly therapeutic. We're going to check it out. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way, and it really does mean a lot to me now. Before we get into that takedown from President Zelenskyy, he answered a question that we saw Lindsey Graham pose earlier today. Look at Lindsey first.
I just think there's no way the president could have signed that deal given the way he and JD and our country were treated. I don't know if you can put it back together. I don't know if you can repair the damage. And I've busted my ass to try to help Ukraine to make sure we help them win a war that would, get this war over in a way that we don't have further aggression, and Donald Trump's the man to do it. I told him this morning, I told him, don't take the bait. Don't let the media or anybody else get you into an argument with President Trump. What he's doing today is resetting the relationship. You should be grateful. Now, whether or not we can put this back together, I don't know. But Zelensky's going to be on your network tonight. If I were him, I would profusely apologize to the way he treated our president and the vice president in the Oval Office and show a little bit of gratitude for what the American people have done.
Senator, how does Moscow and Putin look at this?
Really, Lindsey Graham, you should have to apologize to the American people for existing, for showing your face, making us hear your voice, still being a senator. You are a disgrace and nobody likes you, full stop. Nobody. My favorite thing about Lindsey Graham is when he goes to Trump rallies and they boo him knowing that he has sold his soul for absolutely nothing. No love, no affection, no loyalty. Lindsey, you are a joke. Zelenskyy will not be apologizing. He said it himself.
Fire during all these years, 10 years.
So I'm not hearing from you, Mr. President, a thought that you owe the president an apology.
No, I respect the president and I respect American people. And if, I think that we have to be very open and very honest. And I'm not sure that we did something bad. I think maybe sometimes some things we have to discuss out of media, with all respect to democracy and to a free media. But there are things where we have to understand the position of Ukraine and Ukrainians. And I think that is the most important thing. Yes.
What does the man fighting for democracy, fighting for his country, fighting alongside his allies in the West have to apologize for to a man who knows nothing of service? Private Bone Spurs, a guy who would abandon us all, sell us out for a buck as he has again and again and again. I am glad Zelensky's not apologizing. It's very clear he's trying to work the deal still, and I respect him doing so on behalf of his people. But he's not apologizing, and he's not doing what Lindsey Graham told him to do right here either.
Hey, one at a time. One at a time. Christian data.
Senator Graham, thank you. Do you think President Zelenskyy needs to resign to resume these peace talks?
He either needs to resign and send somebody over that we can do business with, or he needs to change.
Do you
Thank you.
President Zelenskyy said he would happily resign if it meant the end of the war. But that is not what it means, and so he should not, and he will not, and he shouldn't be listening to Lindsey Graham, which I know he is not, and he made that pretty clear when he called him out in his interview with Pritt Bear right here.
The office was disrespectful, and I don't know if we can ever do business with Zelenskyy again. He either needs to resign and send somebody over that we can do business with, or he needs to change.
So he says you need to consider resigning. Is that on the table?
I don't know if he will be happy after my words. This decision can do only people of Ukraine.
You're not going to step down to do a peace deal.
No, I was always ready. I'm not Sure, that is a good idea for I mean this such proposals. But anyway, I always said if United States will support NATO, so I think that it's enough for Ukraine. So I think I did all I had to do. And if somebody is not this happy with me, okay. But between us, yes, Americans vote for American president. Each European country vote for their president, and only Ukrainian. With all respect to LINDSEY, if I can say LINDSEY, we know each other, yes, and only Ukrainians.
These people are cowards. Lindsey Graham, Mike Waltz, Marco Rubio, who we're going to get into in just a second, absolute cowards. It was not but a few months ago they were calling out Putin. Not even calling out Putin, they were stating facts. A couple months ago, they were still willing to state the fact that Vladimir Putin invaded Ukraine. Now they will not call the Russian invasion of Ukraine an invasion of Ukraine by Russia because they're so afraid of Donald Trump. They're cowards. They should reside, which is exactly what was said of Marco Rubio and MSNBC. And I think we should take a look at that right here.
I want to do two things. We are joined by John Bolton by phone. He was National Security Advisor to Donald Trump during the events that led to Trump's first impeachment. John Bolton, hello. I want to play some sound that you and I were talking about. This is Marco Rubio and others on Putin and Zelenskyy before today's Oval Office ambush.
Russia is governed today by a gangster. He's basically an organized crime figure who controls a government in a large territory. There's no other way to describe Vladimir Putin.
I think this entire invasion has been irrational. It's hard to understand what is actually being fed into Putin in terms of intelligence and reporting and how much of his own propaganda he believes.
What's at stake is repelling an authoritarian who basically is saying, I want the Soviet Union back, I want Ukraine back, I want Kiev back. And then what's at stake is making sure we don't allow it to become an Article 5 larger, broader war than that.
John Bolton, your thoughts on folks, some of whom I imagine you know pretty well, today turning on a stalwart American ally fighting a clearly defined and understood American adversary?
Yeah, this is really one of the most disgraceful performances that I've seen, and I think it's important to understand that, in particular, Trump and Vance own this personally. This is the kind of attack on a country that's defending itself from an unprovoked aggression, and they just unleashed on Zelenskyy in public. And whether they planned it or not, I don't know. I'm not that concerned with questions of etiquette. I am concerned that the president, vice president of the United States have sided with the aggressor, with, as Mike Waltz was just saying there, somebody who's trying to recreate the Russian Empire, something he's been very clear about since 2005 at least. And now you have, sadly, both Mike Waltz and Marco Rubio in the administration and apparently staying. I just say, remember, this is not the second month of Trump's tenure. This is the 50th month of his two-year term. And this is the point when somebody does 180 degrees from understanding American allies to backing America's adversaries that you resign.
Mark, are you saying Marco Rubio should resign?
And Mike Waltz, this is really the time to do it. If they don't get out now, I think their reputations will suffer for a long, long time. And that would be sad because their record in believing in a strong American national security policy has been very good up until now.
I mean, let me show you what Lindsey Graham had to say literally 12 days ago to Zelenskyy's face, and then I'll show you some of what he had to say today.
I want to tell you and your people, you're the ally I've been hoping for all my life. Not one American has died defending Ukraine. You've taken our weapons and you've kicked their ass. And I'm very proud to have you as our ally. So, what did I think? Complete, utter disaster. What I saw in the Oval Office was disrespectful, and I don't know if we can ever do business with Zelenskyy again. He either needs to resign and send somebody over that we can do business with, or he needs to change.
John Bolton, what do you think of Lindsey Graham right now?
It just, this is a line that the White House must have put out. Unfortunately, I see a lot of Republicans talking about it. But as I said a few seconds ago, this is not a question of etiquette. I could say that it was Trump and Vance that provoked it. It doesn't really matter what happened. This is, number one, not the kind of discussion you have in public. Trump could have cut it off at any point, which leads, I think, people to speculate maybe this is what he wanted. In World War II, neither Franklin Roosevelt nor Winston Churchill were terribly enamored of Charles de Gaulle for good and sufficient reason, but he was the leader of the Free French, and against the Nazi regime in Germany, he was our ally. In this case, it is Zelenskyy who is standing up for a country that only is asking for its independence and freedom to be preserved. Trump has said Zelenskyy is a dictator who provoked the war. It's an alternative universe. What you heard from Trump and Vance today was advancing the Russian position in these negotiations.
I am sorry that I have to bring this up again, please. As I said last time, let me know in the comments if you want me to stop. I know there is important stuff to talk about, but this feels important to me. Every Democratic senator who voted for Marco Rubio needs to apologize. It does not need to be a big apology. It does not need to be loud. We do not need to distract, but that was the wrong thing to do. It was a mistake. He was voted in unanimously as a normal guy, and now he is falling in line. What did we expect? This man is a coward. I don't need every Democratic senator to apologize to a little bit of anger I have in me over this, but because we need a reminder that under no circumstance should we provide legitimacy to anyone in Donald Trump's administration. The second you touch the ball of goo, of criminality, of throwing away your morals, that is the Trump administration. You're done. Provide those people no legitimacy, call them out, obstruct them around every turn, fight like hell. That's what we have to do. That's what we're going to talk about on this show every single day. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video. And if you suck around at the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.